sometimes you have to look on the outside. Sometimes people think it's either LA, Orange County, or bust, but hello and welcome everybody to the Housing Tips. It's the show where we talk about housing information, housing news, and everything in between. If any of that information sounds of interest to you, please like the video and consider subscribing as we always talk about different housing information and housing news. My name's Eric. I'm one of the hosts, and joining me today is my co-host, Jesse. How are you today, Jesse?
Doing good, man. I'm subscribed to the channel. Does that count?
I guess it must mean that you really like housing information and housing news.
That is correct.
Speaking of housing news, something we want to talk about today was a very interesting article from Yahoo Finance. Jesse, what is that article?
Yeah, you we found a really interesting article about the top 19 cities with fast sales and closing. And did you want to hit on, you know, something that stuck out for you for about the article?
Yeah, before I let Jesse speak about all the different types of locations of the city, something that I found extremely interesting was one of the top facts on the article was that from year to year, in 1 year, the average increase in home value has gone up 2.94%. But these places in the past 1 year have gone up 5%, 6%, 7, 8, 9%, 10% in 1 year. And 2 year average was at 3.55%, but now looking at even more to 6, 7, 8%, some of these locations. So, something I read in the article that was extremely interesting. We'll put the link of the article below. We're also going to share it on the screen, but fantastic information, though. But I'll let Jesse talk about the cities.
Yeah, the cities that stuck out. I know for you, what was like the two that stuck out for you though?
Yes, the number one, and we'll go back and forth. The number one city that I thought about was the city of Riverside. Riverside area has not always been seen as, hey, I'm moving to Riverside. I'm buying a big house in Riverside. But looking at the change year over year, in 1 year, we saw a 5.19% increase in prices in the homes of Riverside area. That is incredible to know. 5% on a five, $600,000 house. It might not seem a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, year over year, 5%, 3% compounding interest, you're looking at massive growth and value to these houses in the Riverside area. What are your thoughts about that, Jesse?
No, yeah, Riverside really appeals to those first-time home buyers and even investors alike. They're more attracted by the affordable options, family-friendly neighborhoods, and they see good potential even for rental income, for long-term appreciation, and still more affordable compared to neighboring areas. Realistically, LA, Orange County, buyers who are priced out of these markets, they're flocking to Riverside. And so it's making a competitive market where homes are selling quickly there. People are stating, okay, I'm still near these kind of areas. I can still commute. Or if I'm have that option of working from home, it's really creating that strong demand for these individuals.
Yes, definitely. 100% agree with that. I always say 100%. Have to think of a new catchphrase. But yes, the Riverside area, sometimes people look at the house prices in Orange County and LA and say, hey, maybe I will either do the commute or maybe I'll talk to my bosses and I'll say, hey, is it possible that I work a few days remote? Maybe I come in, and that's pushing people out to those areas of Riverside and San Bernardino, Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga. So extremely interesting. But moving on from those locations, something I wanted to talk about our Central California brethren. We're based in the Southern California area, but our central and northern pals to the north is one area that I thought was super interesting was the area of Bakersfield. It's an area where a lot of the people from the Bay Area, a lot of people from the LA area, the Way Valley area, they think, hey, I want to buy something cheaper. I'll move to the valley of Bakersfield. But seeing the change in 1 year at 5.44% in 1 year, that's fantastic. And that's crazy to know that year over year, Bakersfield, that used to be seen as an area that's not too much going on. People don't really want to live there to now every year it's going up 5%. What are your thoughts about that, Jesse?
Yeah, Bakersfield. I have some family out in Bakersfield. Shout out to the family out in Bakersfield. I mean, it's also similar where people are moving from those more expensive urban areas, but where they can find larger homes and lower living costs. And so that's driving up property sales and closings. The low property prices, like it's also catching the attention of investors. Instead of me looking for investment properties in Orange County and LA where I'm needing to give a nice down payment plus, repairs and all that, you're working with different price points in Bakersfield.
And
So there's
different sellers too.
different sellers as well. So you have more confidence of like, okay, don't need to put as much, or I have more flexibility, less risk. So it's favorable, right? For both ends, for the first time home buyers, for investors to make purchases. Bakersfield's growing in agriculture, logistics, and oil. So those employment opportunities are also rising. So that demand for housing, it's leading to an increase in these home sales and closings.
No, I 100% agree with that because based on if there's jobs, it makes the house prices higher. Since if there's no jobs and it doesn't want to make anyone really want to live in that area, since it becomes so hard to buy a property if you don't have a job. Actually, one question I had for you, Jess, is do you think you would rather have a location in Riverside or a house in Bakersfield
Would I rather have a location in Riverside or Bakersfield?
over the next 10 years? If you were to move to that area, which one would you prefer?
Ooh, good question. I mean, choosing between Riverside and Bakersfield, I'd say just like your preferences and needs. If it's proximity, for some people, proximity, they might pick Riverside because, hey, I can drive out to LA, Orange County, San Bernardino. Maybe, there's a little bit more infrastructure in Riverside, more still that larger suburban. Um, Median prices are a little bit higher than Bakersfield, so it's also a more expensive market to enter. And but with Bakersfield, also that median home price much lower than Riverside, so it's a really affordable option for first time buyers, cheaper properties. If you're looking for more property for your money, um, it's also slower pace. It's you can do suburban and you can do rural lifestyle and still access to like outdoor activities. It's less congested. Like I think I would choose Bakersfield. Affordability, space, quieter lifestyle. I feel if that's my priority, I'd vision myself at a ranch and just
I was
relax.
about to say that. I would do the same thing. I would actually choose Bakersfield as well for those exact same reasons. You can have a much bigger house in the Bakersfield area. But then again, too, you're only 3 hours, 4 hours to San Francisco, three ish, 2.5 hours to the LA areas, a relatively close proximity to those areas.
100%, man. Any other kind of like summary, just kind of based on what we talked about?
Yeah, overall, my summer would be is sometimes you have to look on the outside. Sometimes people think it's either LA, Orange County, or bust, but these other areas, we're going to put the link of the article in the description, but there's other areas that are growing massively and you're gaining appreciation and you're gaining that exposure to the market, even though you're not living in the LA or Orange County area. But of course, like I say in every single one of the videos, thank you so much for your time, Jesse. And thank you everyone that's listening. If any of that information sounds of interest to you, please consider liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing. But until next time, I'm Eric, and have a great day.